kindly get your complete overview.
Thanks. This was council meeting was held after a considerable gap. The last meeting was held on the 19th of June 2019, 15th of June. But that is because of COVID. We normally have it once a year. So this was the sixth meeting, and coming at the way, while we are coming out and we are seeing the light of the end of the tunnel, it's important to have all the highest decision makers in the country together to chart a way forward for the country, for the economy to go forward. And I think this was it was attended by the 26 chief ministers, 3 lieutenant governors, 2 administrators, apart from the union ministers who are about all ex officio members, special invitees, principals, everybody, principal secretary, the PM, the chief secretaries, all of them. So it really is a forum which brings everybody together in this regard. And the idea is that national growth is dependent on the growth of the states and the union territories, so that is what we need to develop a coherent platform for it. And this time, under the guidance of the Prime Minister, a special effort was made to engage with the states prior to the Governing Council meeting. So on the 6th of February, we had all the chief secretaries, the principal secretaries to the chief minister, or about 20 odd secretaries to the Government of India, the principal secretary to the PM, the cabinet secretary. We engaged in a very intensive dialogue with those state officials in order to try and develop a kind of a consensus-based agenda going forward, and their inputs provided were included in the agenda that was sent out then to the states before the meeting. And this had 6 items that were focused upon. One was making India a manufacturing powerhouse. Second was reimagining agriculture. Third was improving the physical infrastructure. Fourth, accelerating human resource development. Fifth, improving service delivery at the grassroots level, and health and nutrition. These are the 6. And at the meeting today, the Prime Minister in his opening remarks emphasized the importance of cooperative federalism in the foundation, as a foundation of India's progress. I mean, he pointed to the fight against COVID-19, which was achieved successfully because of this cooperation. And he said that the country have to move forward on the basis of this cooperation between the center and the states, and that's the mandate also of NITI AAYOG. And this will become very important as India approaches the 75th year of its independence next year, and therefore how to chart the way forward going there. And the Prime Minister noted the positive response that the union budget has received, and he actually emphasized that there seems to be an all-round eagerness to push forward with the development agenda. People are in some sense wanting to get that and move other things out of the sort of consideration, and also that there's a great deal of enthusiasm shown by the private sector investor, and that he urged the state governments to give the opportunities for the private sector and the private investor to take more increasing part in the Atmanirbhar Bharat drive that we have. He emphasized this strengthening of the MSMEs and startups, and one thing which came out very clearly is that we should deepen the governance model, deepen the experience to the district level. For example, the aspirational district model came up for why the states, and some states said that they've already done it, to identify aspirational blocks, the most backward aspirational blocks, just like the aspirational district model, where all the schemes can be converged and made a special effort. Plus also the export, and this was Prime Minister's, I think, significant emphasis today on emphasizing the role of the states in pushing exports forward, because and he said that maybe you can do identify districts, one district, one product for exports. Also establish district export promotion councils, not at the state but at the district level. If these councils will be created and create district level plans, I mean, I think with the aspirational district experience behind us, there is a feeling within the states, and what the Prime Minister said about using the energy at the district level, to push forward the national development agenda. So if the district and the state and the center can all get in line, in sync as it were, then we'll be able to achieve our national agenda and aspirations going forward. The chief ministers, emphasized, the need for completing the physical infrastructure. The Prime Minister urged the states to create their own pipelines, national, for the physical infrastructure. As the government of India has 110 lakh national infrastructure pipeline, the states can also create their own pipelines. They were talking about enhancing the investments through public-private partnerships, improving last mile connectivity, expanding the scope of BharatNet even further, improving the bandwidth, utilizing the BharatNet. All of those, and he sort of mentioned the fact that the government has already announced the production-linked incentive scheme, and it's for the states now to attract the investors under this scheme. And if he does that, then India would emerge as a manufacturing sort of powerhouse that we want to do it. On reimagining agriculture, the states talked about how they are now setting up, warehouses and all the other schemes to improve agro-processing, parks, and so that was there. And for the northeastern region, several chief ministers talked about that now is the time to act east, and therefore now northeastern region states could come together and cooperate with each other in their interaction with border states like Bangladesh and Myanmar, and therefore they could improve the trading relationship and the economic relationship. Prime Minister also mentioned about the recent liberalization of the geospatial data, which can be very useful for the states to plan their own infrastructure investments and to attract the investors. And he said that this will yield a new momentum on the growth, for economic growth, and emphasize the need for substituting agricultural products which we continue to import, and which is like especially edible oils, 45 to 50,000 crores worth of, and as we have succeeded in pulses and lentils, we could, and many states said that they would take part in this effort to substitute the import of edible oils going forward. Basically, there was also felt need for improving the education standards. There was discussion on school dropouts. About 3 crore children drop out of the schools. 3 crore children are out of schools, and therefore there was a discussion on how a spatial annual survey could be done on this, and then means adopted to bring them back into the education system. Also, a mission sort of approach for foundational literacy, if you can get, and also talk about further accelerating the Poshan Abhiyan as we go forward. So overall,